So almost 2 weeks ago on September 10th, a man by the name of Charlie Kirk was assassinated on a college campus here in the US. By now, I am absolutely sure that everybody watching this has at least heard of this and knows the gist of it, so I won't go into the details. You probably know it. And even though we're about 2 weeks out from that happening, there are still people that are losing their jobs over the comments that they have made on social media, trying to make fun of the fact that he was shot and killed. I think it's kind of in a lot of different industries this is happening, but maybe it's just because I focus a lot on video games that I'm seeing this. But yeah, this is the latest person right here that allegedly made some comments and was fired as a result. It's from a studio, a developer called Probably Monsters. And with a video with a topic as heavy as this one, I just want to make it clear right off the bat that I absolutely despise the killing of Charlie Kirk. It is terrible, and it makes me very sad that an innocent man was killed just for his words that he spoke. It is just terrible. And what makes me even more disgusted are the people who have these sort of gross reactions to it where they celebrate somebody dying. That is it for my tangent. I know maybe some people don't exactly feel the same way, and that's okay. I think that's kind of the point. We are all people who are able to disagree on things without causing physical harm on others, and I think that's just really what it comes down to. But yeah, just want to make that clear. This incident was extremely unfortunate, and I'm very, very just sad overall that this happened. But everything surrounding this case, I mean, yeah, it's about 2 weeks old now, but man, it just feels like we're just getting started. There's tons of information out there. The alleged assassin was put into custody, I think like a day and a half after the killing took place. So now a lot is coming out about him and his life and what led him to this mindset to basically justify the killing of somebody. And with what has come out already and some of the even like the stuff that he wrote on, I think it was like the bullets or like the casings. I think from all of this that we are reading so far, the general gist of what I'm getting is that this dude was chronically online. He was very, very, very heavily involved in like Reddit culture, Discord culture, and that by itself, there's nothing wrong with that. If anybody here spends like 12 hours a day on Reddit or Discord, hey, you do you. Tons of people do just that. They are chronically online, and yet they cause no harm to others. But unfortunately, when you get something like this, where this nutball writes like a Helldivers 2 reference on one of his bullet casings, and then when you get the prosecutors and also the lawmakers that want to dissect everything here and find out what the problem was, which don't get me wrong, rightfully so, I am glad that they are doing that. When you put all of that together, you're gonna get some questions basically for the people who run these online platforms. And so that actually leads us to this invitation right here 6 days ago on September 17th. This is coming from the United States Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. The chairman has invited the CEOs of Discord, Steam, Twitch, and Reddit to testify on radicalization of online forum users. So it says, today, House Oversight and Government Reform Committee Chairman James Comer invited the chief executive officers of Discord, Steam, Twitch, and Reddit to testify at a full committee hearing on October 8th. That, by the way, is 2 weeks from tomorrow. So the hearing will examine the radicalization of online forum users, including instances of open incitement to commit politically motivated acts. And then this is the last part of the invitation. I think it's interesting they call it an invitation. It's more like a summons to court, I would call it. But anyway, they say, quote, the politically motivated assassination of Charlie Kirk claimed the life of a husband, father, and American patriot. In the wake of this tragedy and amid other acts of politically motivated violence, Congress has a duty to oversee the online platforms that radicals have used to advance political violence. To prevent further radicalization and violence, the CEOs of Discord, Steam, Twitch, and Reddit must appear before the Oversight Committee and explain what actions they will take to ensure their platforms are not exploited for nefarious purposes. So this will be quite a showdown, basically, if you don't know how these things work, because they're not necessarily uncommon. Like, for example, Mark Zuckerberg has had to testify in front of Congress. I think he did this like 2 years ago. It was talking about like Facebook and Meta and like protecting its users. It was kind of this same sort of thing, only obviously obviously under much different circumstances. So just as a recap, we're going to have Gabe Newell. I mean, that's a surreal moment, but Gabe Newell is literally going to be testifying in front of Congress. That is the Steam CEO, or the Valve CEO. Then you're also going to have Steve Huffman. That is the Reddit CEO. And then you'll have Humam Sakhnini. This is the Discord CEO. And then finally, you will have Dan Clancy, the Twitch CEO. That is in no particular order, by the way. I don't know what order they will go in. But basically, the format for how these things work is that basically each CEO, they're going to have their own time slot. It's not going to be all four of them taking the stage at once. But every time it's a CEO's turn, basically, they're going to have like their own opening monologue, their opening... you think of it like Saturday Night Live with an opening monologue, but, under like way worse circumstances. There's probably not going to be any jokes. Granted, there's no jokes at SNL anyway, but, they're going to have their opening statement. Usually this is just a few minutes. And then Congress, they are going to take their turns, basically one by one, asking their own questions. Each member of Congress that wants to talk, they've got, I believe, 5-minute rounds, and that is for each CEO. So yeah, these things, they can last for hours just for one of the CEOs. So this is starting Wednesday, October 8th, but I would not be surprised at all if this goes into the next day, Thursday. So, there's your warning if you're still trying to put in your more than 2-week vacation notice to your boss. If you want to pop some popcorn and watch this whole thing. Yeah, the whole thing is gonna be quite interesting. The way these things go, I mean, there are some really interesting questions, a lot of hard-hitting questions, but they usually just kind of result in the kind of predictable answer. You'll get a lot of, we take this very seriously, and, we've invested this much money in security, and, I'll get my team to look at that data, and I'll get back to you on that. I'm not saying these answers are bad, it's just kind of what to expect for, I feel like, the majority of it. Nobody's under, like, criminal investigation or anything like that. It's not, they're not defending themselves in court. This is just a question and answer format, just to get the facts. Just as a final note, though, I really wonder why it is specifically these 4 platforms. I mean, obviously, these 4 are probably the biggest in terms of communication when it comes to video game culture, which is obviously what this alleged killer was kind of into, kind of like video game internet culture, that kind of thing. But why these 4? I mean, obviously they're the biggest ones, but I mean, like, in terms of the investigation that's still taking place, if you're paying attention to any of that, like, I know they've talked about the whole Helldivers 2 thing that he was into, but like a lot of the specifics on what they have found from his laptop or computer or whatever, that's all kept secret. My point being, I would probably guess that there's some level of like, they have found that maybe this guy had a Steam account and a Discord account. Actually, I think he did have a Discord account because that is where he allegedly sent some messages talking about this. And then they probably found that he had like a Reddit and Twitch also. It is just kind of interesting when something this big happens, it can create some sort of a reaction like this, where you are getting 4 huge CEOs under one roof to testify. This will be a big day for the internet, okay? This is, it's gonna be quite interesting seeing Gabe Newell in front of Congress, but overall, it is probably for, I guess, a good reason, just to get the facts. So, yeah, I think it'll be fine. I don't think it's gonna be anything super, super crazy, but nonetheless, extremely, extremely interesting thing that is coming up in just a couple weeks.